It's your duty. Pay for your sister. Have you ever been told it's your responsibility while being used like a pawn? Keep listening. Sometimes silence is the loudest form of resistance. The roast smelled familiar. Rosemary, lemon, the kind of seasoning that made people believe a meal meant forgiveness. The dining table was dressed like it always was on Sundays. Placemats in gold trim, polished wine glasses, cloth napkins folded like swans. If someone had walked in off the street, they would have sworn this was a family that laughed together, prayed together, healed together. But I knew better. I sat with a practiced smile on my face, listening to Uncle Dennis retell one of his recycled jokes about HOA fines and raccoons, while my mother refilled everyone's glasses like a hostess born for showmanship. Lauren sat across from me, nails freshly done, sipping sparkling water like she had nothing to hide. No one mentioned why I'd really been invited. Dessert arrived. Panna cotta with raspberry coulis, my supposed favorite. That's when Mom stood up. She cleared her throat like she was about to toast someone's birthday, then set a manila folder on the table in front of me with a kind of softness that made the act feel more like a gift than what it truly was. "I need you to look these over, sweetheart," she said. Her voice was the kind you use to tell a child the dog has gone to heaven. "Just a few forms, it's all done. We just need your signature." I glanced at Lauren. She looked away. I opened the folder. Pages of legal print, some in bold, some highlighted. My eyes scanned down. My name appeared 5 times on the first page. At the bottom, a mortgage agreement. $500,000. "What is this?" I asked. I knew, but I wanted to hear it from them. "It's just paperwork for the house," Mom said quickly. "The old place still has your name on it, remember? Technically, it simplifies things for the bank if I sign over collateral for a $500,000 loan," I finished. Uncle Dennis chuckled. "It's not like you're paying it back, kiddo. Just a formality." "It's for Lauren's business," Mom added. "She's got this amazing opportunity. And we just figured, well, it's your duty, isn't it?" For family, there it was. The word, duty. I looked back at the papers. My signature meant liability. If Lauren's amazing opportunity tanked, and I had a gut-deep feeling it would, I'd be the one left answering to creditors. And they all knew it. Lauren finally spoke softly. "You helped before." "Yes, when she dropped out of college and ruined her credit." I co-signed. I paid off the debt. I worked double shifts to cover what she walked away from. And then she stopped calling. I closed the folder. "This is a lot," I said. "I'll need to look over it." Mom frowned, trying to control the slip in her expression. "Naomi, we've already told the bank." "I said I need to read it," I repeated. My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. She exhaled. "Well, of course, just don't take too long. These opportunities, they don't wait forever." I excused myself early. Said Eli had a project due? He didn't. He was at a friend's house for a sleepover. But I couldn't sit there another minute pretending that what they were asking was anything but betrayal, masked in good linen and lemon chicken. The air outside felt cooler. My shoes clicked against the driveway as I walked to my car, clutching the folder like it might burn through my skin. I didn't drive home right away. I parked 3 blocks down and just sat. Let the anger bloom. Let the grief rise. Then I opened my laptop. I scrolled through old emails until I found it. A message from Caleb Rivera, 2 years ago, thanking me for helping him rebuild his resume after his company downsized. He'd written, "If there's anything I can ever do to repay you, even something small, don't hesitate." I clicked reply. I need that lawyer's number. Caleb chose the corner booth farthest from the window. Smart, less foot traffic, no chance of bumping into anyone who might ask questions. The coffee shop was half full, mid-morning bustle, laptop clickers, and oat milk drinkers. I slid into the seat across from him, the manila folder still in my bag, unopened since Sunday night. He gave me a nod. "You look composed." Looks can lie. He didn't push, just passed me a to-go cup, black with a splash of oat, the way I always ordered it when we worked late shifts together back in the day. He remembered. I spoke to a friend, he said. Melissa. She handles financial manipulation and undue influence cases. Quietly, she's good. She'll need to be more than good. Caleb pulled out a worn notebook, flipping it open to a page that looked like he'd already filled in half the blanks for me. First thing she'll ask, is your name legally on the property? Yes, it's the house from before. Mom put me on the title when I was 18. Said it was symbolic. He raised an eyebrow. Symbolic, huh? She said it meant I'd always have a place to come back to. And now? Now it means I'm a walking credit score she can borrow against. He nodded slowly. Melissa will want to see the docs. All of them. I reached into my bag and handed over the folder. He flipped through the first few pages and whistled. They're not even subtle. There's more, I said. Lauren's not just starting a business. She's using this to buy into some next-gen tech portfolio. High risk, low guarantee, likely a scam dressed in buzzwords. She's betting on seed rounds with my name backing it. Caleb scribbled. So she tanks the investment, defaults on the loan, and you're left holding the ashes. That's the plan. And my mother's the co-architect. He didn't say anything for a few seconds, then, you sure you don't want to burn them all to the ground? Tempting, but I'd rather do it legally and make them watch. Melissa was everything I didn't expect and exactly what I needed. No suits, no jargon, just sharp eyes, a calm voice, and a coffee stain on her blouse like she hadn't had time to care. We met in a private room at the back of a quiet co-working space downtown. She'd already skimmed the folder. This smells like coercion, she said flatly. They're using emotional leverage, and it's targeting your sense of familial obligation. They always do. You're not obligated, not legally. And if we can prove that the pressure was ongoing, documented, or that the documents were presented under false pretenses, we have leverage to invalidate the contract, if it gets signed. I'm not planning to sign. Good, because once you do, you're tethered, even if they default. Melissa laid out a plan. Step 1, stall, pretend to reconsider, play along. Step 2, collect everything. Texts, voicemails, casual comments. Anything that implies coercion. Step 3, trigger the collapse. At the most visible, inconvenient moment possible. They've already invited me to a final signing this weekend, I said. Family dinner again. Same performance. Perfect, she said. Wear a wire. That night, I sat on my couch, laptop open, scanning bank records and public business filings Caleb had dug up. Lauren had registered a Shell LLC 2 weeks ago under a name that sounded like it came out of a TED Talk generator. No real board, no partners, just buzzwords, promises, and a funding request big enough to drain the house. And me. My phone buzzed. A message from Mom. Don't overthink it, Naomi. We're all counting on you. Just come Sunday. It's one evening. A second message followed, this time from Lauren. Thanks again. I knew you'd come around. I stared at the screen, something sharp rising in my throat. Gratitude, weaponized. They thought I was folding. They thought I'd cracked. I tapped reply, typed one word, then deleted it. Instead, I opened a new email and attached the most recent mortgage draft. Subject line, for Melissa, full scan. I let the screen glow in the dark room. Eli was asleep down the hall. Outside, a dog barked twice and stopped. I closed my eyes and pictured the table again. The wine glasses, the folded napkins, the performance. Then I whispered to the silence. Not this time. Naomi receives a voice memo from Lauren. Thanks again. I knew you'd come around. The house looked the same. That bothered me more than I expected. The shutters still had the chipped green paint Dad never finished fixing. The porch light flickered when it rained. It was clear tonight, but the bulb still gave one faint buzz as I stepped up the stairs. Inside, everything was in place. Nothing was out of order, which meant this wasn't just a family dinner. It was a staged event. The folder had been left out on the table, crisp, aligned, waiting. They were already seated when I entered the living room. My mother wore navy, her version of power. Lauren sat straight, legs crossed, in an expensive jumpsuit she used to mock women for wearing. Uncle Dennis sipped from his glass, already 2 fingers deep into scotch and muttering something under his breath about taxes and freeloaders. I walked in holding nothing but my clutch. Inside, a tiny voice recorder, courtesy of Melissa. She'd briefed me that morning. Don't provoke. Let them talk. Let them lead. Make them feel in control. Patricia smiled at me like I was home from war. You look beautiful, honey. Really, that color brings out your eyes. I almost asked which color, tension or disbelief, but smiled instead. Can I get you some tea? No, thanks. Let's get started. The air tightened just a little. Lauren reached forward and slid the folder toward me. Final version, she said, tapping the corner. We cleaned up the language. It's all simple now. I'm sure it is. I opened the folder. Same terms, slightly reformatted. The house remained collateral. My name remained guarantor. And the line for my signature still sat alone at the bottom, like a trapdoor waiting for a misstep. Uncle Dennis leaned in. Look, Naomi, it's not like we're asking you to pay anything. This just secures the structure. Lauren's got real investors lined up. Big fish. She just needs this to finalize the round. Lauren tilted her head, soft. I know it's been tense. I really do. But this is about moving forward, for all of us. Patricia chimed in. You don't want to be the one who holds everyone back, do you? There it was. Not just pressure, but guilt. The carefully rehearsed kind. I kept my face neutral and flipped a few more pages, giving the device in my clutch time to drink in every word. Has the bank seen this version? I asked. Lauren nodded. They're just waiting on your signature. Once it's in, funds move. We can begin. I looked up. And who gets the funds? No one answered. Patricia coughed. The LC, of course. Everything's above board. I blinked slowly. And that's Lauren's company? Lauren shifted. It's in my name for now, but once it grows, it'll be all of ours. You included. That was new. A consolation prize. A late addition to the script. I took a deep breath. I'll take this home. Review it. Patricia smiled again, the kind that doesn't quite touch the eyes. Of course, sweetheart. We just want you to be comfortable. But don't wait too long. These things move fast. I stood, clutched the folder, the recorder, my silence. As I turned to leave, Lauren's voice followed, too light to be casual. I told the others you'd come through. I knew you wouldn't let us down. I paused just a second too long at the door. Let them think it was sentiment. Let them think it was guilt. Outside, the night felt sharper. Not cold. Clean. Honest. At home, I tucked Eli into bed, then sat on the couch, the folder still closed beside me. I plugged the recorder into my laptop. The audio played low, the room's niceties giving way to truth in the silences between their words. Midway through, I heard it. Patricia's voice, hushed but clear. As long as she signs, who cares if she knows? It landed like a dropped knife. I clicked pause. No panic. No tears. Just a rising calm. The kind that comes before something breaks, and it's not you this time. I dragged the file into an email, attached the document scan, and typed 3 words to Melissa. Use this well. Then I stared at the blinking cursor, thought of the woman I used to be. The one who sat quietly through digs, swallowed betrayals whole, and wore shame like a uniform. She wouldn't have recorded that conversation. She wouldn't have asked for help. She would have signed. But she's not me anymore. That night, Naomi emails the audio file to Melissa with one line. They want a show? Let's give them a stage. Caleb picked me up 2 blocks from the venue. We didn't speak much during the ride. There was nothing left to say that hadn't already been planned, cross-checked, rehearsed. My reflection in the passenger mirror didn't quite feel like mine. Hair sleek, makeup perfect, blazer sharp enough to cut through assumptions. I'd worn red. Not burgundy, not rust. Red. A color Lauren always said was too much for someone like me. Let them stare. I was counting on it. The event was held in a restored loft downtown, industrial chic with whitewashed brick walls and hanging Edison bulbs that tried too hard to feel effortless. The banner outside read, Nova Vest, Future of Female-Led Innovation. Lauren never missed a chance to market herself as something inspirational. She didn't invent the idea of women founders, but she sure trademarked the image. Inside, the air buzzed with curated ambition. Waiters moved like synchronized swimmers. Investors nursed cocktails and made polite jokes about IPOs. Caleb peeled off quietly, blending into the crowd as one of the media team. He wore a press badge Melissa had mocked up. No one looked closely. Lauren was already working the room when I entered. Her smile froze for half a beat when she saw me, then stretched wider. Naomi, you made it. I let her kiss my cheek. Let her guide me to the front, where a small table held branded folders and 2 glasses of champagne already poured. You're right on time, she whispered. And thank you again. This means everything. I know, I said. I handed her an envelope, heavy, thick, sealed in red wax. She didn't open it, just clutched it like it was already hers. Let me introduce you during the pitch, she said. As my anchor, the reason I'm standing here. I nearly laughed. Instead, I smiled. Go ahead. The room dimmed slightly. The projection screen at the front lit up with the NovaVest logo, animated and sterile. Lauren took the mic. She was good. I'll give her that. Confident, polished. She spoke about the future like she owned it, dropping buzzwords like breadcrumbs. The crowd nodded. Some even clapped at her recycled lines. Then came the moment. And now, Lauren said, turning toward me, I want to bring up the person who made this possible. She believed in me when things looked uncertain. She trusted family when others might have walked away. Please welcome my sister, Naomi Parker. Applause. I stood, smiled, walked slowly to the front, felt every eye track my steps. The microphone was still warm. I didn't touch the champagne flute beside it. I didn't start with a joke. Or a thank you. I'm not a founder, I said. I'm not a CEO. I'm not here to inspire you. The room quieted. But I am the reason this event exists. Because without my name on a certain piece of paper, none of this would be funded. And before anyone claps, I'd like you to hear something. I pulled out the Bluetooth speaker from my bag. Small, black, harmless looking. Pressed play. The recording played loud and crisp. Patricia's voice. As long as she signs, who cares if she knows? Then Lauren's soft laugh. There were no more claps, just silence. Someone's drink glass tapped too hard against a tray. A cough in the back. Lauren stepped forward. Naomi, I don't know what... I raised a hand. You don't need to explain. I just thought your investors might want the full picture. The screen behind me flickered. Caleb from the back had started the live stream. The chat was already flying. Someone in the crowd whispered, Is this live? I didn't answer. I turned back to the microphone. This isn't about business, it's about trust. About how easily it's traded, masked as family, wrapped in ribbon. Lauren's face was pale now. Patricia, seated near the front, had gone very still. I stepped down from the stage, leaving the speaker on the podium. As I passed Lauren, I handed her back the envelope. She opened it this time. Inside wasn't a signature. It was a notarized notice of intent to file fraud claim against the mortgage filing, and to cease and desist. The blood drained from her face. Gasps. Lauren's hand flies to her mouth. Caleb pans the live stream to her stunned face. Viewers spike. The chat explodes. Naomi steps back into the shadow of the screen. The silence that followed felt louder than the recording. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. The room froze in that suspended, too clean quiet, the kind you hear in courtrooms just before the verdict. Only this wasn't a courtroom. It was Lauren's stage, and I had just taken a sledgehammer to its foundation. She stood behind the podium, her hands gripping the edge, face slack. Patricia, 2 rows away, blinked like someone had flipped a light in her eyes. The speaker still hummed softly. The recording now ended, but its words lingered like smoke. Melissa entered without ceremony, just like she promised. No power walk. No stomping heels. Just calm, precise steps that led her directly to the front with a folder in one hand and a badge clipped to her coat. "This will only take a minute," she said. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. It cut like cold steel. She addressed the crowd. Investors, press, strangers now forced to lean in. "My name is Melissa Chen. I represent Naomi Parker in a pending investigation into financial fraud, document falsification, and coercive abuse of power tied to a mortgage agreement valued at $500,000. A murmur rose. Cameras tilted. I caught someone's hand lowering a champagne flute. Lauren stammered, "She's twisting this." Melissa turned to her, expression unreadable. "We have digital records, bank filings, and a live recorded conversation implicating both you and Patricia Parker in an attempt to leverage Naomi Parker's credit and property under false pretense." Patricia stood up now. "You're not serious." "I am," Melissa replied, "and so is the law." She handed over copies of the cease and desist order and a certified fraud claim letter. "Any attempt to pursue this mortgage, continue presenting it as secured, or using Naomi's identity in financial proceedings is now considered actionable. Immediate compliance is expected." Lauren's hands trembled. She reached for the envelope, fingers catching the edge. "You don't understand. I needed this. I stepped forward. "You used me. You lied. You told me this was about helping your company, but all you wanted was a shortcut with someone else's credit. You were never building anything, just leveraging names like commodities." She opened her mouth again, but I kept going. "You talked about family like it was a tool, and maybe that worked before. Guilt, duty, manipulation. But not this time. Not with me." The screen behind flickered again. Caleb had uploaded side-by-side images, my official mortgage deed from 2 years ago, and Lauren's altered version, with a forged signature so clean it could have fooled anyone but the original signer. The audience gasped. Some people started whispering names. A man near the back shook his head and took out his phone. "Is this real?" someone asked. Melissa nodded. "Very real. Naomi had every legal right to expose this, and now the relevant financial institutions will be involved." Patricia sat down again, heavily. Her eyes wouldn't meet mine. I let the moment stretch, let the weight fall. Then I spoke one last time. "You think silence is compliance. You think politeness is weakness. But truth doesn't blink. And I'm done blinking." Lauren's face collapsed inward. She looked around, hoping for someone to rescue her. But no one stood. No one defended her. One of the investors finally broke the tension. "We'll be in touch. With your attorney." Melissa tucked her papers back into her folder. "That concludes our portion." I turned, heels steady, not running, not gloating. I passed Caleb near the exit. He gave me the smallest nod, his phone still filming as the chat continued flooding in. Outside, the sun had dipped low. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt clear. Lauren storms off stage. One investor says aloud, "We'll be in touch. With your attorney." Melissa turns to Naomi. "You're clear." Naomi exhales, just once. The light in the apartment that morning was soft. Not golden, not dramatic. Just clean. Eli sat on the floor, surrounded by boxes he insisted on unpacking himself. His new room was already filled with books, half-assembled shelves, and a poster of the solar system he taped to the wall, crooked and proud. I stood at the kitchen counter, sipping coffee that didn't taste like rush or recovery, just hot, strong, quiet. On the table beside me sat a single envelope, white, slim, no return address. I didn't need to open it to know who it was from. I already had. Inside had been 6 sentences, 6 perfectly constructed lines of apology, avoidance, and thinly veiled self-preservation. Patricia had written that she never meant for it to go that far, that she was trying to help Lauren succeed, and that she hoped one day we could talk like we used to. There was no, "I'm sorry." Not really. I placed the envelope in the drawer under the sink, not out of sentiment, just to keep it from cluttering my clean space. My email pinged. I opened the laptop. Dozens of unread messages flooded the screen, strangers from the live stream. Messages with subject lines like, "Thank you for standing up," and "Your story is mine too." Some were short, some pages long. Women, mostly. One said she cried when the recording played. Another had left her family's business after watching it. One had never told anyone about the time her brother used her name to buy a car and never paid. I read each one. I didn't reply, but I saw them. Across the room, Eli waved a drawing in the air. "Look, Mom, this is our rocket ship. It's flying over the moon, but it's coming back to Earth." I smiled. "Looks fast." "It's super fast," he said proudly, "but it always comes home." He ran off again, humming to himself. I took another sip of coffee, then picked up a frame from the counter. I hung it by the front door. A single sheet inside, plain but powerful. The mortgage release letter. The real one. Signed, filed, done. No ceremony, no speeches, just finality. Caleb had stopped by the night before. He didn't stay, just handed me a note with a folded smile and said, "No media questions, just gratitude." The note read, "You saved more than yourself." I stared at the frame a little longer, then turned toward the hallway. Eli's laughter bounced off the walls like sunlight. I followed the sound. At lunchtime, he sat across from me with peanut butter on his nose and asked, "Why are you smiling, Mom?" I looked at him. Truly looked. He didn't know what had happened. Not the details. Not the sharp edges. He just knew we were in a new home. That we weren't rushing anymore. That no one was calling me in the middle of the night with family emergencies that were actually financial traps. "I'm smiling," I said, because they thought they owned my silence. But they never even earned my voice. Eli, "Why are you smiling, Mom?" Naomi, "Because they thought they owned my silence. But they never even earned my voice." The courtroom never came, but justice didn't need 4 walls to speak loudly. In front of polished investors and curated lies, the truth shattered years of manipulation with one recording and one refusal to shrink. When injustice is met with unwavering courage, the final verdict can echo through a lifetime. Sometimes all it takes is one voice saying no, clearly, publicly, without apology. If this story moved you, consider sharing it, subscribing, or leaving a comment, so more people know that silence isn't the only option.